Can you help me make sense of this? Kyrie said, normal people keep the world going, but those who dare to be different lead us into tomorrow. I've made my decision to opt in. See you in the fall. Being different would not be to opt in, correct? I think people are, if you're trying to be different, you probably would have taken the
I
step.
assume in his mind, him being different is him not taking the quote unquote easy way out
Okay.
by going to the Lakers or by, right? So for me, this should have been a non-subject. Like whether your name is Kyrie, KD, James Harden, Kyrie played 30 games last year and he was hurt the year before that. And then all of a sudden you just assume that people are going to give you $200 million and commit to you when they feel like the commitment to consistency is not there, right? They're not saying you're not a good player. They're not saying you don't love basketball. The consistency and the commitment to consistency is not there, as it seems to people on the outside and obviously to the rest of the league. So that is the non-issue. It's not an issue. Prove yourself. It's not like you're taking a bad deal. Like Kyrie, you've been injured a lot. You're betting on yourself for 1 year. I think this might be one of his better years in his career. To me, I think so. If he can stay healthy, because of the motivation and the pressure on him now to prove himself. He has to reprove that he can be committed to try to play 82 games in a year, right? And in the playoffs. But like, nobody's like, no, I'm not giving you $200 million for you to just say, something's going on. I don't want to play today. We can't. We need you out there to win, and that's where I think this shouldn't have been an issue. It's just an issue because it's Kyrie.
No, and one of the things that we talked about is like, like when we were saying things to Kyrie or about the situation, it's like, bro, you're gonna cost yourself $200 million. What's going on? Like the Nets were trying to extend him, and I know that there was like some contract if he waited till the end of the season than this. And like, look, I stand by the vaccine. There was a lot more players that were unvaccinated. We saw it with Matisse Thybulle. There were some players on a lot of different teams that, since they haven't been, talked about, but there's a lot of different guys on different teams that weren't vaccinated. So it wasn't just him. And so I'm not trying to force anything on him. And he was told by the NBA that they wouldn't, but the city put a mandate on him. So he's looking at it as like, I was ready to play. I was this, I was that, this something. And I support that. But also there was other things. It wasn't just that. You don't not get your $200 million because you just couldn't play the first portion. Don't say it's not just that. And anybody that's saying it was just the vaccine is why he didn't get a long-term extension, or the Nets were like, yo, we'll give you a multi-year extension, but like we need to have like games played, we need to have this, we need to have that. And a lot of that is the Nets trying to take some control back, in my opinion. I don't know specifically. I didn't talk to Sean Marks or Steve or anybody about it. It's just like teams want control. Right? They want to make sure like we are paying you not to be different. We are not paying you to be an activist. Not saying that all of those things you should be. You should be more than just a basketball player, but we are paying you to play basketball. That is what we are paying on. And if you aren't playing basketball, then we don't want to pay you. And that goes for any job, right? If you are a baker and you are paid to bake cakes and you are choosing not to do that because you're like, I really like accounting. And it's like, well, we're paying you to bake cakes. You can do all the accounting on the side as long as you show up on your 9 to 5 to bake the cakes. And I think that's, I know it's a simple analogy, but the teams were going to get their money back. The teams were going to gain some control. And so that's the part where like, hopefully Kyrie has the year that everyone knows he can. He plays in 75 games and the Nets win a championship and he gets a max deal. Great for him.
Those two spoke nothing but facts. And remember, those are Kyrie Irving's old teammates. Those were Kyrie's old vets on the Cavs when they won the championship, and he sure could have used them these past few seasons in Brooklyn to speak some sense to Kyrie, to explain to him why he's not getting the big money and why his organization is frustrated with him. KD and Kyrie, they picked the coach, they picked the team, they kind of assembled this whole thing on their own, and they had no one to really check them. KD and Kyrie got tired of their situations and both decided to leave and try something new, but then didn't take responsibility when it didn't work. Kyrie has never taken responsibility. Could you imagine if Steph Curry just stopped playing basketball and then wanted $200 million from the Golden State Warriors? You couldn't dream of it. Could you imagine LeBron James doing that? Could you imagine another great player just not playing and then expecting a max contract for the long term? We've seen guys go through load management and take games off, but this is entirely different. That's a basketball strategy, and they let their GM know, their coach know, and everybody knows that that player is not going to play. Kyrie has missed games and not even told his coach. He told his teammates to tell his coach. Kyrie has missed games because he's partying. Kyrie has missed games and then posted on social media. So it makes sense why Richard Jefferson and Channing Frye just do not understand why Kyrie Irving is so upset and wants $200 million when he hasn't proved himself. They're vets. They understand the game. They understand the business. They know you got to show up to work to earn your money, and Kyrie hasn't done that. But now I want to hear from you guys in the comment section down below. What do you think of this situation? And don't forget to leave a like if you enjoyed this video and subscribe for more NBA content just like this. And I will see you in the next upload.